The Ann Arbor Newshawks, tonight an exclusive. President Obama comes to Ann Arbor for a one-on-one interview with the Newshawks, and also to give the U of M commencement speech. Here the president answer questions even Helen Thomas was afraid to ask. It's one-on-one with Obama, starting now. I'm Newshawk reporter Chance Langford, here with Beaumont Vivant and Jacques Labatt at Michigan Stadium. The commencement crowd is dispersed, and we are ready to begin. Mr. President, welcome to Ann Arbor.
And thank you for allowing me the honor of being a part of it.
I'm glad that the Newshawks were able to free up our time because, as you know, we are a
24/7
investigative news team.
Let me acknowledge one of my favorites, change.
Thank you, sir, but it's not change Langford.
Choice.
No, it's not choice Langford. It's not change Langford. It's Chance Langford. Now, with all due respect, sir, that can't be the hardest name you've ever had to remember.
Your mayor, John Heafjay.
That is a tough one. My guess is that you know us by more than reputation, because we've sent you literally hundreds of letters giving you our thoughts. I hope that you found them to be helpful.
I decided that each night I would read 10 letters. Some of these letters tell stories of heartache and struggle. Some express gratitude. I'd say a good solid third call me an idiot.
Mr. President, my name is Beaumont Vivant, and we met in the men's room earlier.
I was there.
First, as a citizen, I want to apologize for the deplorable conditions in those bathrooms. It must have been a miserable experience for you as well, Mr. President.
I was next to a volcano.
Can you believe that guy? Worst of all, there was no toilet paper.
How do you do your job? It makes it nearly impossible for people to sit down and hash things out.
I know. What can you use in that situation?
A newspaper.
Newspaper?
If you're somebody who needs the TP, try the editorial page of the New York Times. Try a page of the Wall Street Journal once in a while.
How does that work for you?
It's always been noisy and messy.
What's the answer to no paper and the wet floors?
Government intervention is...
The government takeover of restrooms?
Government is what ensures that spills are cleaned up by the people that caused them. But what troubles me is when I hear people say, keep government out of my public jobs.
Many would say that government is inefficient.
And in certain instances, that's been true. But we've also clearly seen the dangers of too little government. Like when a lack of TP nearly leads to the collapse of our public jobs.
You could barely get that out, and that certainly was a hot-button issue with you. Are there any more questions about the filthy conditions of the bathrooms? Yes, now.
Mr. President, I'm Jacques Labatt. We'd like your impression on several of the sights you saw while driving through Ann Arbor. I understand you drove by the new City Hall addition on the way here. What were your impressions of the architecture of that new structure?
I'm still trying to piece the thought process on this one.
Our city government is in that building. I'm sure that you've heard that Ann Arbor politics can get pretty crazy. To get in city council, it's necessary to be,
A socialist.
well, not quite, but compared to them, you would be,
Glenn Beck or Rush Limbaugh?
That's what I was reaching for. Now Ann Arbor has a real pothole problem, and I understand your motorcade experienced some of the problems firsthand.
The roads you drove in on has never been for the thin-skinned or the faint of heart. You should expect to get roughed up.
They are pretty bad. I just hope nothing was damaged.
A right-wing nut or a left-wing nut.
Those are called lug nuts, Mr. President.
That's true.
Let me ask you, do you have a question for us? We're of a different generation. Our problems come from going older.
The question for your generation is this. At a moment when our Johnson seems so small, how will you keep it alive and vibrant?
Eat more oysters?
No, take a little blue pill.
Well, enough about our inadequacies. We understand that you traveled under Ann Arbor's main problem, the Stadium Boulevard Bridge. Our representative, John Dingell, described this situation. You must remember John Dingell. He's been a representative for
100 years.
Yeah, I think he was first elected under President.
Andrew Jackson.
Anyway, John Dingell had two words to say about the bridge situation: miserable and disastrous. I mean, cement has fallen on the road.
Which I'm happy to say didn't happen while I was there.
People have been pushing for this project for quite some time, but after a while you say, what's the point?
Here's the point. Write letters or make phone calls that can send signals to the most extreme elements of our society.
City council. But this is a dangerous situation. What can the federal government do?
First of all, put a safety net in place.
To catch the falling concrete?
I think it can. But we can't expect to solve our problems if all we do is tear it down.
Well, no, the other part would be to rebuild. This is a major artery. How long can we expect the government action to take?
10 years from now, or 50 years from now, or 100 years from now.
That's discouraging. I'm afraid to ask, how is this all going to be paid for?
Massive government taxes.
Ugh. Well, before we get too depressed, we'd love to go get a couple of beers with you.
I love you back.
Okay, well, there are a wide variety of places we can go. There are family bars.
Seems a little over the top.
I agree, and there are college bars. In fact, Ann Arbor has even been known to have some massage parlors. And that would be the choice of at least one of us. Now there, first of all, you'd get a great massage.
But I have 23-year-olds who do it for me.
I mean, there could be more.
We choose only to expose ourselves.
You're catching my drift.
You'll learn what it's like to walk in somebody else's shoes.
No. We're not going to go there.
Makes for a sexier story.
Maybe a kinkier story, but we're talking about a man and a woman.
A common prostitute.
Yeah, and I'm thinking this last option would be a poor choice. Last thing we'd want to have happen is to catch something and the three of us end up at a medical clinic.
Doctor, what have we got? Sometimes their benefits don't justify their costs.
I couldn't have said it better. It's best to remember that other than Jacques, we are married men.
Michelle always reminds me that.
Good. You've heard the other choices?
So what do we do?
Okay, the Newshawks are in favor of going to Connor O'Neill's down on Main Street and having a couple of brewskis. Can we do that?
We can.
See you there in 10 minutes. Oh, by the way, we usually wear our dark glasses. It cuts down on the autograph seekers. Maybe that's something you might want to think about.
What a nice guy. We had a few beers, a few laughs.
And he bought.
Yeah. I think his line was, when you're running $1 trillion deficit, what's another $100? We couldn't agree more. No. And we each got an autographed bar napkin. Ours from the president, and yours?
The barmaid. She was a flat-out 10, wasn't she?
Well, that better be enough from us. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.